Versus good morning to everyone tuned in to Unicorn Radio International 103.5 FM. Good morning to you, either inside or outside across the states. We love to be here today. Welcome to the Morning Buzz Show. This morning, time check is 32 minutes past the hour of 7, and like we do every weekday, we're here to give you a smooth drive through your morning. We're here to be your morning companions. I'm Sharon Atgaita, and I'm here with Obi Thompson, and we're here to give you the best of the best of the best of the morning and help you start your morning beautifully well. How are you doing this morning? What's going on in your area? Did you sleep well, or did you cold hold you by the neck and said we're not going to talk well today? As for me, cold was to finish me. I woke up with serious cold. I woke up sneezing uncontrollably. I didn't know how it stopped and how I am here. The only thing I'm doing is sniffling, but I'm good. And thank God my voice hasn't gone, because I was actually afraid that my voice would actually go and leave me and I'm not able to come to work today and talk to you guys. But praise be to the Lord Almighty in heaven. I am here today. I am here this morning talking to you guys. I think I'm giving testimony, yo. So how are you doing today? What's going on in your area? It could like catch you very, 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 very well. Or you had a warm blanket, or maybe weather for two. You may not even know. Maybe you had weather for two that kept you company, kept you warm, you had somebody to cuddle, or you just had your blanket to cuddle. My own, I did not have anybody to cuddle. It's blankets. In fact, it was halfway. I realized that it was actually cold. I used to put cold on my body. But even at that safe, cold still found its way into my system. I just what I need actually is to take hot tea. Very serious hot tea, so that I'll be able to get my voice back. Anyways, get to talk to us, get to send us a message. You can send us a message on our WhatsApp line or call us on our studio phone line 009 058 Get to talk to us, get to tell us how your days. We want to hear from you. We love to hear from you. In case you want to crash out and tell us what is happening this morning, yeah, we are here for you. Send us a message, call us. Crash out, literally come and crash in front of us. Yeah, we are listening to you. You can also drop a message on our live stream. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Get to see our beautiful faces, because I'm actually looking very, very fine today. If I just say so myself. So Thompson, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Malabite and Malabrasis. Good morning to our very distinguished listeners all over the world. Just like you said, yeah. Mine wasn't literally cold, though the weather was very cold last night, and then mine was a particular neighbor who played a particular music, and he actually put it on repeat, and it was repeating the same song, and then he went on. It was still playing again after the song finished. It was still playing. Trust me, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't catch sleep, even if I loved that song, but I couldn't catch sleep entirely. So I felt very uncomfortable. I had to go, turn on my home theater, and then I had to play my own music. There I was able to, start feeling like I want to sleep, but I had to go pour water again so I could force myself literally to sleep, because trust me, the music came on and on. Then I knew that it was really wrong, to listen to a particular track, a particular music over and over and over and over and over again. So I very felt bit disturbed mentally. Yeah. And there again, there was really cold, especially this morning again. So man, everywhere is just cold, but it's good so that everybody's brain will calm down, because I let someone, a friend of mine actually posted a status that, look, I think they should check the percentage of persons whose mental health have increased, or BPA, because of the sun and all of that. I was just laughing and all. So because the sun that actually came out yesterday was really touching. It was touching deep down. Then I knew it was going to rain, and then we actually gave weather forecast. And so today we should also expect similar kind of weather today. Definitely when we get to the weather segment. So I'm good. It's such a beautiful time to be here again, even if we woke up this morning with a sad information somehow, some way. but we're fine. We'll give God the glory, irrespective of that. Life still, keep continues and all of that. So, how are you doing this morning, too? Just like you say, you needed something. Oh my goodness, yeah. It means it gets to the point where whether we like it or not, no wonder from the beginning, God created them male and female. That when you get to a certain point in time in your life, you definitely need that companionship. But until then, you just have to go your steez. Just
I mean,
live within the confine of your
buy
duvet and all of that, and your
buy
tea, your hot water.
buy blankets, buy wool sweater if you can, so that in case you
You
are
cannot
catching
beat
cold.
them, you can join them, right?
Say it's case cannot be safe. I don't understand.
Yeah, so
Wait.
what I mean is, in case you cannot afford blankets, guys, you just need to, take tea. If you can't afford tea, please take hot water. Okay, it's still hot, everything warm to keep you warm.
Well, I
That's what I mean.
don't think anyone here that doesn't have anyone listening doesn't have a sweater. At least one sweater. There's one sweater.
I don't think I have that.
You don't have a sweater.
I don't have it. I literally don't feel comfortable lying under that. I would prefer to put on a duvet or than putting on sweater. Okay,
I cannot do that too.
I don't. Even if I have to travel for a longer distance, like usually back then when I frequent the northern part of the country, I don't do sweaters. I could just put on something thick like a shirt that is thick and it's long sleeve. So rather than putting on sweater, no. I don't even have it safe. Not to talk about putting it on.
It's how I'm not even surprised. Like anything, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. So, anyways, the police recruitment exams started yesterday, and I think it's still ongoing.
Yeah, today.
Yeah. You said you were going to.
Yeah, I was there yesterday, and then I took tour of the entire facility. I do not want to say that we have a big problem in Nigeria. First of all, I think one of the issues that came through my mind is the fact that there's a big problem in Nigeria, and that has to do with unemployment rate. When you look at the number of young persons within the center alone, you will know that yes, we have a big problem in Nigeria. But when you talk about organization of the entire exam situation, I would not say because it's not within my power to actually say that. But trust me, I think Nigeria will have a very long way to go. Knowing very well that this is the situation of things that we're definitely going to be encountering. It should have been better if they had make it look like what we usually practice here in Unical. Everyone know your center and the venue, in your print out. Okay, so we don't have the total mix up and delay. Despite the fact that the exams were scheduled for 8 o'clock, I knew that it didn't start within even 10 or 11 a.m. I think it was later in the afternoon, though it didn't take time.
Well, speaking of that,
once the exam started.
Speaking of that, actually, let's talk about this African time thing, because it doesn't make any sense to me. It's now attuned to Africa. Like, when the time is set, we come like 2 hours, 1 hour or 2 hours before, after the time, past the time, and then we call it African time. That some people will plan their day in a way that it'll be like, this event will start by 12, usually 12 on the flyer or something. And then they're like, no, it start by 2, so I'll always come by around that kind of 1 something. And I'm like, is it supposed to be a thing? Is it supposed to be a thing? Because it's now a norm, and it has been owned by us. So that says African time. In fact, I don't feel like it's even African time at this point. It should be Nigerian time, because for me it doesn't make any sense. So what do you feel like is the reason for things like this? Because I mean, a time is set for a particular hour, and then this person now gets the notion that it's going to start late.
Yeah, so usually that happens a lot in African settings, especially Nigeria. So you tell them event is by 10, and then they'll tell you, don't worry, by 10:30, if you go there, you won't even meet it. In fact, as I speak to you now, that's exactly what is in my head already. But not because I wouldn't have loved to be there on time, but because looking at the calibers of persons who are championing that particular event or to attend this morning, You could see that those persons will not even, be awake from their bed at that time of the day. That becomes a huge concern here. So for them on their own part, I think it's quite wrong for, Africa to be practicing this kind of system. When something it's supposed to be by 10, like I keep saying, if I have a personal event that I am the one actually anchoring, I have been brought up in a religious, background where by 9 a.m. when you're starting your church service, that is the exact time it starts. Even if you just one or two persons within that sentence, that is when it starts, and then on when it is supposed to be by 9 to 10, and by 10 at a dot, we are ending that particular section. So that's the kind of religious, a body I belong to. So I have been groomed to that, even in our meetings and all of that. So here we had them, start these particular exams at a very late hour because of what's preparation, organizing people. Now, I also fall back to this belief that it's such quite difficult to actually organize human beings because you're telling somebody do this. A lot of persons also came late, so at that point in time you'll be asked to locate so place where your local government, because I think they start based on local governments, and so locate your local government, you locate your local government, locate your local government, and within that time frame you see that a lot of movement gallivanting around up and down, and it looks as if it was literally not organized. Despite the fact that the leaders there put every effort to ensure that they were able to talk. Now, in events like this, I don't think it is a bad idea for them to come with a megaphone, at least a mobile megaphone, so that you'll be able to talk to the hearing of. Most of them do not even have the voice to sound to the applicants or the candidates where they are. So while I was there, I felt a bit disturbed that what about those who are far behind? How would they hear? Those who are front, before they could try to forward those informations till it gets back, trust me, they're going to miss one or two things, information there, and it doesn't really help situations like this. So I think situations, events like this, they could come with a mobile megaphone so they can speak or probably stand on top of the building so that they can be able to, address the people properly and all of that. We could see them stressed out yesterday, and then I also witnessed during the rain. It was really troubling because you wouldn't expect somebody who is coming from, let's say, Boki, Yala, Bekwara, and all of those, Ogoja, Ikom, even Yakor, even Akampa, as nearby as Uzupani or Bakasi here. You wouldn't expect any candidate to just come from his or her house, with just the white and probably writing materials. Definitely, a lot of them will have to spend the night before they leave the following day. So they will have to come with, an extra clothes, a bag, and all of that, so that they could change, and even things to bathe with and all of that. So, and then they were asked to put their luggages in a particular place, and lots of them, like I usually say, it is wrong for us to have a system where you should have to keep your things, and then someone else is targeting to pick your phone or pick your systems and all of that. It doesn't make any sense at all. So all of you have come for the same program. So we're supposed to expect that you have to focus on what brought you. I know lots of persons are just there to pickpocket from each other, which is very wrong. I think in situations like this, if people are caught and dealt with publicly, others will have to learn wisdom, because it doesn't make any sense. You can imagine somebody yesterday, a particular girl was crying, coming from a very far distance. So how will she be able to communicate with the parents or siblings that, because where she puts it, because of the rain, and then when they were dismissed, lots of persons were now scampering for their bags. You could imagine that.
And these are people that are supposed to actually be future police officers.
Yeah, so we expect them to, live by the laws, not pickpocketing and all of it. Just like I said, a lot of them are just there because they just want to, seize that opportunity to commit some crimes, not because they came there for the recruitment process properly. So, but I think we have a big problem. Here is The problem is, if there was a proper system where you come into exams venue, there are CCTV cameras, there are systems where
cameras,
it
yeah,
just
one.
come to, yeah, it's possible.
It's possible.
If we have such a center,
But we
they
have
could just come manage it up. Trust me, even if they spend like 4 hours, writing these exams, they could make them back just the same way
it's
GSS does
possible,
it.
but we have
It
the
is
issue
possible.
of vandalism.
Yeah, so over
Like,
time we've talked about it, about vandalism,
and that's why I
stealings,
feel like that's why the lawn tennis court is locked. Because of vandalism and everything. Because imagine doing imagine enacting a particular building,
okay.
and you've done the money that went into it went to a good cause. Because I mean, look at the lawn tennis court. Basically, we can use that one to brag. Because when people enter inside, they're like, "Oh my god, what a very beautiful place to actually play this certain sport." Now imagine after using money and resources to do this particular thing, people come in and start vandalizing it, start picking things from like the iron bars, because some people sell all this iron stuff. Imagine coming to come and pick all those things and vandalize the area. So the CCTV cameras, that's the problem, is not putting the CCTV cameras now. It's how long will it be there before possibly thieves come and pick it up.
Yeah.
Vandalism we're talking about here. Because I feel like that's why some things have not been put in place. Do you understand? It's like, see, we have a long way to go. Because if police people have proper CBT centers that they could easily control. Because I mean, if you're coming for an exam like that, there will definitely be police officers on standby. That's mature police officers on standby to make sure that the exams go on as smooth as they're supposed to.
Yeah, that has been put in place. It's just the other parts where they keep belongings. It is not easy for you to keep belongings in such a place. This is a place of over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, kind of population. So you will not be able now when the exams ends, like the issue of rain. How do you now start to dig your bag from where it has been kept very deep down there and all of that. So, however, I think, well, just like I said earlier on, our Nigerian system, we have a very long way to go. This long way for us to go is to enable things to be put in place. Trust me, if things are put in place, we'll not be having all of these kind of challenges. There's nothing wrong, individually staying. I have written exams in Unica where individuals stay at your home and write your exams and submit. That is it. There's nothing wrong putting up those kind of system. Okay, and then making sure that there's this system called how do we call it? That we use over there, to write exams. You just have to put your system, and then the stuff automatically monitors your system and everything. So you don't need to panic. You don't need to disturb yourself. Anything you do within that area, the system captures and picks it, and then they sit back to verify if you deserve that grade or not. So these are things we should actually be introducing into our examination systems. Like this, as it is now, I got so worried yesterday, and today is another day where a lot of these things are still going to repeat.
Well, it may reduce today. It was like, because yesterday,
first time it's always very tough for them to organize themselves, and then the second time are always a tough time for them to put a lot of things in order and in place. So hopefully we wish them the very best. Despite all of this, we never had complaints. That didn't hear of complaints. A lot of them have questioned yesterday why they were coming back or coming from the hall. They never had issues as to bullying, harassment, and all of that. Even if it may have some way somehow, but because a lot of these candidates are sometimes you just ask yourself, like, how did you even get to this point? Because you should deliberately know that you should coordinate yourself. You don't need to be allowed to the extent where somebody will have to shout at you before you do simple thing you should be able to do just by yourself and all of that. So well,
and we actually still need to debunk the whole African time thing, because I actually grew up in an environment where if you don't wake up early, what you're supposed to do, you are not going anywhere. Yeah. You are not going anywhere. You have to be as punctual as possible. My parents taught me punctuality. The state I grew up in taught me punctuality. The churches I went to taught me punctuality too. So coming to a place where I'm hearing events starting by 12, event shows 12 on the flyer, and then I come by 11:50 something, and it's just they've not most of the times they've not set up what they're supposed to do. And you're not like, wow. And if I come late now, if I said, okay, let me come late, let me use this African time and come late, and that's the time we'll start on time. And we'll not be rushing to come and sit down. So, like, we need to actually debunk this whole African time, especially for exams and important things like this. Because imagine coming for an exam after dressing and everything, and preparing for an 8 a.m. exam, and then the next thing they're delaying you to like 10.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's not like 20 minutes or 30 minutes late. It's like an hour or 2 hours
An
late.
hour, 2 hours late.
See, that's the thing, and we need to really debunk it, please, so that we encourage punctuality. You know, sometimes it actually gets to a point, gets annoyed because if I can come early, I expect other people to actually do the same thing, and people that are actually serious about doing their exams should actually be there on time. And the people that are also organizing the exams too ought to start at least, even if you don't start like exactly on time.
On time.
Which actually
5 minutes is too
exactly
late for you to start whatever.
And then for a disciplined organization as police, Nigerian police force, I mean,
we expect
we
the
expect
best.
more.
Yeah.
Exactly. If it was a school exam, we would be, let's say, we won't like hit on it like this. But I mean, for an organization that is known for, it's supposed to be known for discipline and strictness, they should actually adhere to better punctuality measures.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the music break. When we come back, we will take you through the weather forecast segments. Although I feel like some people already have a feel of how the weather is going to be today.
Mhm.
So this is Ego by Chike and Mubad. Don't touch that dial. By Chike and Mubad. Welcome back from that music break. We're going to go straight to the weather forecast segment of the show. Now, today is the 29th day in the month of April. Finally, April is coming.
I know, just we'll say goodbye to April.
It's something I cannot wait to say goodbye. It's something
Yes.
tired. But actually, April was actually very fast though.
Yeah, April came so fast that a lot of us were like, why is he rushing? What happened? Who is pursuing it? But it's good.
At least we're moving
Yeah.
forward. Yeah. So this is the weather outlook for Wednesday, 29th of April 2026. Today will be warm with isolated thunderstorms likely, especially in the morning to afternoon, and conditions stay mostly cloudy through the day. Humidity will be high and there's a good chance of rain at times. So plan for possible showers. In the morning from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., the conditions may be mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms early. Temperature range may be from 24 degrees Celsius to 31 degrees Celsius, and the rain may be moderate with possibility of showers and storms in the morning. Now, humidity may be high and the wind light. The good tip is it's a good idea to carry an umbrella if you're out early. In the afternoon from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., the conditions may be cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible, and temperature range may be from 28 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius, and the rain chances may be thunderstorms or showers likely. It may feel quite warm due to the humidity, and the practical tip is that if you're outside, keep water and shade nearby. It may feel hot and humid. In the evening from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., conditions may be mostly cloudy with in the night, and temperatures may range from 24 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. And the rain chances may be isolated showers are still possible. In the evening, it may still be muggy. So the practical tip is that it's good for indoor plants. Reduce the movement outside in the evening. Now, general summary is that the overall temperature may be from 24 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius, and the rain chances may be from moderate to high, especially in the morning and afternoon. General weather may be warm, humid, partly to mostly cloudy, and possible thunderstorms likely. Humidity may be high. Expect a muggy feel. The general advisory is that you expect warm, humid, and unstable weather throughout the day. Thunderstorms may pop up suddenly, especially from morning into the afternoon. So plan your movement with rain in mind. Carry an umbrella or raincoat. Showers may be brief but intense. Hydrate properly because humidity will make the heat feel stronger. If you're commuting, leave a little earlier, leave a little earlier. Early day thunderstorms can slow traffic. So you heard it here. This is the weather forecast for today. Expect rain, expect heat. I don't even understand how these two can walk hand in hand.
Definitely.
Why? What's kind of weather like this?
It can walk hand in hand because you don't need you need according to some comedians, sometimes you be like water. You're not too hot, you're not too cold, but if you use and stay, you use sip Gary or if you use and stay chop paper. But whatever it is, yeah. But it's good the weather to be like that,
I understand how like you wear
Yeah.
a jacket and expect it to be cold. Then all of a sudden it becomes hot.
yeah.
Or
So
you wear a long sleeve shirt,
you pull
but
it
it's
off.
cold in the morning.
Yeah, you pull it off and then hold it on your hands, and then when it gets
I'm not talking of jacket, I'm talking of shirts.
Yeah, shirts. Yeah, you just wore a shirt like me. That's why I would say walk around with your umbrella, right? Be in a safe zone. Put on things that in case it come raining, you're safe. It comes, sun, you're still very safe. So you do not need to panic. This is the season, so we should expect that. There are also sometimes where you see a very heavy sun and also see light showers of rain. And then back then they used to tell us that, oh, once you see like that, know that either lion is put into birth and all of that. So I was like, so those kind of myths are still there. Whenever it's raining and there's heavy sun, they say, hey, lion is put into birth and all of that. However, that's for the weather forecast for you out there. Ensure you prepare yourself, knowing very well that it might definitely gonna rain. You might expect to see good sun at some point in time. So when it rains, don't worry, get drenched a little bit, but be safe. When it's sunny, pull it off and sunny, and keep moving.
You heard it here. Prepare as much as possible for the weather because Calabar is a different place from Nigeria. Calabar is in Nigeria, but not in Nigeria. Like it's a different zone entirely. Do you know how people are begging for the rain that we're experiencing? Some people have not actually seen rain in a while. Like back home, they told me that it barely rains. It barely rains where they are, and I'm like, wow. And it's raining here like crazy. Like the rains are heavy. So prepare as much as possible for any weather you find yourself in because you could just be walking on the road, it's sunny, you're complaining of heat, and the rain is just falling from nowhere. So expect anything. Now going back to the music, this is Benhicella by Jazz World. Don't touch that. by Jazz World. I like that song actually. The song actually uses
Yeah.
African feel. It's like South African culture. It's very sad that there's xenophobic attacks from also because I one of the Nigerians actually, I like their. I think Zulu. I've heard Zulu.
Yeah, Zulu dance. That's
I've
where it's
heard
coming from.
the
Yeah.
language, and the accent. Their accent is so nice. As somebody that loves diversity, and culture and accent, language basically, because I feel like an accent is someone that it just literally just if I speak in a certain way, you can literally have a hint of where I'm coming from. Although there's people that actually have a wide array of accents they can do, and so you may be confused. But accents have a way of making you stand out. Like for example, now I speak like Yoruba and like this now, they know that okay, this is from Akwa Ibom State, that kind of thing. So I really, really love the Zulu language and the way they are so traditional about their stuff. Their songs actually hold meaning to it. Most of the times, some of them are not meaningless. So if you check the meaning of those words, their lyrics, they actually hold meaning. I like how traditional they are about some of their music. So, anyways, welcome back from that music break. We're still on the Morning Bus Show. My name is Sharon, and I'm here with Obi Thompson. And the next segment we're going to is the exchange rate segment, and Obi Thompson will take us through it. Obi Thompson, take it away.
Okay, so welcome you to the exchange rate segment of the Morning Boss Show. My name is Ray Thompson. Right away here, we'll start with the first. I think I need to start with this particular one. I just wish I keep craving that. Oh, I think our currency should actually equal it. Is the West African CFA? Okay, so one West African CFA is costing Nigeria just 2 naira, and then one Danish krone is costing just 216 naira. And then one Saudi rand is costing Nigeria 368 naira. And then one Swiss franc is costing Nigeria 1,748 naira. So it seems it's actually increasing. And then one Japanese yen is costing Nigeria 8 naira. That's very lovely. Okay, so one Chinese yuan is costing Nigeria 201 naira. So I think Chinese yuan is actually getting an increase as the day goes by. One South African rand is costing Nigeria 83 naira. So it has actually increased. Okay, so £1 sterling has eaten so much deep into our currency and is going as high as 1,863 naira. So we're asking question, what is happening with our currencies? It seems each and every day our currencies seem to be crying, and crying in the wilderness. I just want to say that. Okay, so €1 is costing Nigeria 1,615 naira, and then $1, just $1 is costing Nigeria 1,380 naira. So I think the dollar is increasingly gaining more stance against the Nigerian currency. It's sad that each and every day we have to battle with all of these, especially going to buy something as low, as common as ugu. Oh, please, for crying out loud, this decision was supposed to have enough ugu, without even complaining. And then we see a lot of persons who still complain and say, hey, don't you know that dollar is so expensive and that's why we can't get ugu? No, it shouldn't be like that now. Everything they tell you is dollar and all of that. It shouldn't be. Okay, so that's pretty much a beginning from the exchange rate segment of the Morning Boss Show. My name is Obi Thompson. Right away here, we'll turn to Sharon for the rest of the show station.
Well, you heard it here. We are definitely you've heard it. You know the exchange rate. We are always dedicated to giving you the best of the best information, up to date information actually, and this is one of it. So definitely you know the how the exchange rate market is. Now we're going back to the music. When we come back, we'll take you through the national holidays segment. This is Stability by Ara Star. Don't touch that dial. Star. I remember when they used to like. I remember the trend on this particular song. I don't
So
know.
yeah,
I don't think you can to me. Can you read it?
I don't understand. I don't understand. What the hell do you mean?
No verse.
Yeah, it's
No
okay.
verse.
It's
I
fine.
thought it's only yeah,
No, I can't shower.
I shower. I did not know that I used to follow trends. Remember when this trend was active in online basically. I was like, wow, and it was so complex. I was just looking at it, I was apparently the content creators that actually, could pull off the trend because we're actually following the lyrics of the song.
Yeah.
So shout out to ourselves for giving us such a banger. Anyways, we're going straight to the national holiday segment. Thanks like the song means past the hour of 8. And the first national holiday is International Guide Dog Day. International Guide Dog Day. Now, there are people that have one disability or the other, and they have certain animals that actually help them. They have certain animals, like for example, dogs that actually help them guide them, direct them. Especially people that are blind, those dogs serve as their eyes, direct them on where to go. The things sometimes they even aid them in bringing some particular things. They are very sensitive, trained dogs. So guide dogs provide opportunities for social interactions and greater independence for legally blind adults. International Guide Dog Day pays tributes to these dogs who do it this impressive way, because it's not easy for an animal to be able to guide a full human being without actually speaking to the person, because they don't have the ability to speak. So we today is to pay tribute to those dogs who do the impressive work of actually guiding legally blind adults. Now guide dogs help the visually impaired to make their way through the world while they offer love, comfort and support in so many ways. Most of these guide dogs make blind people are able to aid blind people to be somewhat independent of other people, because they direct them when they go out. They direct them on the places that they're supposed to step on, that the places are not supposed to go. They help them cross the road, and then when they're at home, they also help them with their day-to-day activities. Like it could be as little as bringing their owner what they need to maybe stand up with a pair of slippers, different things basically. The guide dog is there for comfort, is there for support, and today we pay tributes to those set of animals.
Yeah.
Because
that's why they are all domestic animals, and then just like you say, most security apparatus in the country, use them as a kind of guide, and then security, they act so fast and sweet, and they can detect a lot of things and all of that. So today we celebrate, this amazing creature that God has actually created in its own way and its own form. And then the one that we easily be talking about is police dogs. They see police dog and all of that. So rightfully, I think that's pretty much to learn about this day, knowing very well that all of these domestic animals stand a great chance, okay, for us to learn from.
Okay, so the next national holiday is International Dance Day. International Dance Day. So like I said here that I dance, and mine did not believe me. It is well. Well, I have
you want to try something this morning?
No. Why would I want to try something this morning? So there are different types of dances, actually to different cultures, religious beliefs, and everything. Every culture, I feel like every culture has their dance. Every culture has to dance, starting from Scottish with the Kombi dance, the Igbo people with the Atilogu, and there are other dances that they have. But I think Atilogu is the one I remember properly.
Okay.
Yoruba people with the Bata dance, Tiv people with their own dance, the Ijaw people with their own dance too, the Hausa people with them, and the Hausa Fulani people with their own set of dances too. Going outside Nigeria, South African people, Egyptians, the Cameroonians, Ghanaians, literally everyone has dances that tune to their culture, dances that actually pass a message, dances that send messages. Before we could actually converse with each other effectively, we had other things to pass information.
Exactly.
And most of pass information aside language, we had dances. Basically, like I said here, the Bata dance was used to was done in attuned with the talking drum and also to pass information. Now, dancing is universal, very, very universal, woven into virtually every society all over the world. Humans simply love to dance. I mean, when you take credit at last, what do you do? You dance. When you pass the exam,
Una all know they pass money first.
please,
They say
I'm
God
not talking.
first.
I'm not
They say
talking
God
about.
first.
Wait first.
Ah.
Calm down first. Calm down first.
God first.
When you pass the exam, what do? You dance. When you realize that God has done the rest for you, that you be like you will not be here without Him. What do? You dance in church, come on. You see people in church who will lose their steez in church. Like it's particular me married. Like steez without God is breeze. Steez without God is breeze. Now people dance in church to glorify the God that they serve. So dancing is very universal. So today, dance, because actually it's another form of exercise. Actually, it's another form of exercise. So as much as possible, loosen up yourself. Dance. There are a lot of benefits to it. It helps you become lighter, makes you happy. It also reminds you of a lot. And some people dance to glorify one thing or the other.
Exactly.
Dance due to happiness and all. So today, I encourage you to dance.
I'll dance today and keep it in practice and in touch with what I will be doing very soon. Let's leave it at that.
Dance in your house.
Mm-hmm.
So the next national holiday is World Wish Day. World Wish Day. There are a lot of things.
I make a wish, I will do it. Don't ask me for ice cream, I will still do it. If you ask me for ice cream, I will still do it.
Don't say why.
Okay. Make a wish.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Don't
so
stop the why.
now make a wish.
Make a wish.
Yeah. Okay, your time will expire. Your time will expire. We only ask for within a second. So for you out there, pick a phone and get to talk to us this morning. Just make a wish.
Will you grant them the wish?
Yeah, sure. Please just pick a call. Just pick a phone and get to talk to us this morning. 080944444058. 080944444058. Just to make a wish, And trust me, it's gonna be very lovely and very good.
You grant them the wish. Stop telling here.
Maybe the person call first.
Stop there. If you should call so that somebody will grant your wish for you. You have turned to genie. You grant the wish.
Okay. Like give condition.
I think the terms and conditions.
Okay, terms and of course there is nothing without terms and condition. You must be a first class graduate. Like your CGPA must be within the first class range. Yes, and then you must be tall. And then, okay, but don't worry. Just quick the call, and then the rest.
So tall and first class tall man or woman should call with a wish.
I think I should make a wish. I should wish. Should it be a male or a female? Malabite or Malabrisis? Malabite.
If you do that next day.
Okay.
Who will come for you? Anyways, he's encouraging you guys to call in and make a wish.
Make a wish.
You may not know what will happen.
Yeah, you see.
But a lot of things I wish for, starting with this country, I wish things could actually be in the right, things could work the way they are supposed to.
Oh, you believe in magics, right? Yeah, I see. They're just trying to be magic.
We have to have hope. You have to preach hope. Things will definitely get better afterwards, But that's one of the things I wish for. I wish for that things, but that's not the purpose of the show. The next national holiday is World Stationery Day. World Stationery Day, where we celebrate all different stationaries. Stationaries are like those things we used to write, books, pens, rulers. When we were little, it was basically we I was given like a lot of it to keep. I was given a full mat set, and then when we go for all these birthday parties, that's the next thing they're giving to you. They'll put it in all these nylons. These nylons, they'll put ruler, they'll put eraser, they'll put pencil inside, and then they'll put inside party pack. This party pack had all these all the favorite cartoon characters when we were little inside it. So like today is set out to celebrate those stationaries because that's all. That we won't be able to write without having those things conveniently in our hands, our pens, our pencils. So those people that sketch, we have different types of pencils that they use. Today is the day to celebrate the fact that we have these things in hand to help us and aid us to converse properly through written messages. Now, the next national holiday is Denim Day. Denim Day. I forgot. I don't know what's birthday today. I said. Denim is also called. We call it jeans. Here, jean jackets, jean corsets, jean trousers, jean skirts, jean tops, jean bomb shorts to jean jogger. Jean jogger they call it. Jorts, sorry. Jorts, that's what they call it. Jean jorts, basically. So today is World Denim Day. As you're coming out to that, in fact, actually, yeah, denim is actually a very nice outfit to wear while dancing. Actually, it's a very, very nice outfit. People now, jeans are very convenient. Denims are very convenient for, let's say, any weather. For this particular weather now, jeans are convenient because you can just wear a jean jacket. Our technical guy currently wearing one jean jacket I want to collect from his hand. And I've told him already that I'll come and collect it from his hand. But that will be after the show. I'll tell you tomorrow whether you leave me or not. So that's all for the national holiday. We're going to go back to the music break. When we come back, we'll take you through the health and wellness segment. This is Shwalabam by UP, Burna Boy, and SNE. Don't touch that dial. Why does it take me time?
Because it's not the same.
Skill. Yeah, actually, I feel like it's actually a flex. Like I'm pronouncing Yoruba words. It's very you flex on me because Yoruba is one language I want to sit down and learn it well because it's so nice and so let's say chic. So because I mean, and it's like a complete flex to actually know how to speak it, how to converse in Yoruba. Shout out to my Yoruba people, yeah, my Yoruba friends around. Welcome back from that music break. This is the Morning Bus Show on your favorite radio station, Unicorn 103.5 FM. And we're going to go straight to the health and wellness segment of the show. Time check is 26 minutes past the hour of 8. And on today's health and wellness segment, we're going to deal on the dangers of self-medication when treating yourself becomes harmful. Now, many people take drugs without seeing a doctor. Painkillers, antibiotics, herbal mixture, thinking it's harmless. But self-medication is one of the silent causes of serious health problems. People that take antibiotics, I'm here for you. I'm going to shake that table. Because tell me how you haven't seen a doctor and you authorize yourself to go and buy antibiotics to take. I'm here for you. Yeah. Now, what is self-medication? Self-medication is the use of drugs without proper medical advice, diagnosis, or prescription. It could also be termed drug abuse. It could also be termed drug abuse. Just that drug abuse is more advanced, but self-medication is a minor part of it because you don't have proper prescriptions to actually take the drug you're taking. So, in a way, you're abusing the drug. Yeah. Now, common forms of self-medication include use of old prescriptions, buying drugs without prescriptions, over using painkillers. I said yesterday that you should go gentle on the painkillers when we're talking about kidney health, kidney health. Go gentle on the painkillers. Now, self-medication, one form of self-medication is overusing painkillers. Mixing herbal and orthodox medicines, very, very dangerous thing to do. Taking antibiotics just in case. Yeah, see, I don't know how human beings resist some things. You just take things that will actually, jeopardize your health. It's possible that you were fine, and then you decide that okay, you're not taking this drug in a while, and then boom, you go and buy it and now take it. And then I'm like, why? Exactly why? Now, dangers of self-medication include drug resistance, especially with antibiotics, making infections harder to treat. You don't want to have that. Now, in the lab, we have this test. We do MCS basically. We do urine, stool, or there are some urine, stool MCS now, urethral MCS, HBS MCS too. So basically, during all those ones, you need to find if something grows, the next stage. If something grows after culturing, the next stage is sensitivity, and that sensitivity is where we now use antibiotic discs to actually check which bacteria is which antibiotic is this bacteria that has grown resistant to, and which antibiotics is this bacteria this is the second one used to also. So basically that particular test to ascertain what treatment we're going to give to you, they will write sensitive and resistant. Now the antibiotic is to check which antibiotic would the bacteria be sensitive to, and which antibiotic would the bacteria be resistant to. Now, the report is done after growth happens overnight. Not growth happens overnight. There's a whole procedure for it. I'm not going to go into that. We've had some people sample their sample. The bacteria is resistant to almost all. We had one where the bacteria was just sensitive to one, and it was so scary because imagine your test coming out that the antibiotics that they have cannot treat your type of bacterial infection. Imagine how scary that would be. So, as much as possible, please tone down on the self-medication. In fact, totally nullify it. Don't engage in self-medication because you will not like it when your body is resistant to antibiotics, when the bacteria that is causing an infection in your body is resistant to antibiotics. Because when you overuse of antibiotics, the bacteria will definitely get resistant to it. It's not be sensitive to it anymore. Yeah. So it can also cause organ damage. Liver and kidney damage from painkillers and herbal mixtures. Yesterday I said something about kidney health and painkillers. You going easy on the painkillers, and it's still repeating itself again. Those things go as far as they go to the liver and the kidney. That's where they affect mostly. Those are the organs they affect, and it can lead to organ damage. Also, wrong diagnosis. Treating symptoms instead of real diseases. Now, the dangers of self-medication also include drug interactions. Mixing drugs can cause dangerous reactions. Pharmacology students could explain this better to you. There's something we call there's pharmacokinetics. Then there are other ones, if I can remember properly. There's a pathway that this drug go into. And then there are some drugs you can't mix together. Yeah. Because if not, it's not going to actually help you. Like for example, now when you're taking malaria drug, I think you don't take vitamin C hand in hand with it because it will reduce the effect of malaria and will not help you to treat the malaria well. So when you are taking malaria drug, it's advised you not to tone down all the vitamin C that you're taking. Now, also causes delayed proper treatment. Serious diseases worsen while symptoms are masked. So imagine you have headache or you have fever basically, and you carry you go and buy painkiller paracetamol and take, and the headache and fever goes away. You've not treated the main disease that's causing it. The main disease is now acting on your body. You've treated the symptoms alone, but the main disease could be very dangerous because we can easily treat diseases when it's diagnosed early. Now imagine if you have headache, fever, and everything. You have symptoms of a particular disease that is probably working in your body already, against your body system already, that your immune is trying to fight, and then you self-medicate. It treats the symptoms alone, and the disease is still there in your system, probably an infection in your system. So it masks real diseases and makes you feel like as if there is no disease in your body. That's one of the dangers of self-medication. So simple advice for you out there: avoid buying drugs without prescription. Complete prescribed medication. For your antibiotics, complete the prescribed medication. For anti-malaria, complete them, because if you don't complete it, it comes back in full force again. And I'm telling you, you don't like yourself. Also, don't share drugs with others. Some people will tell you, as little as vitamin C is, if it has been prescribed for you, tell you two in a day, maybe one in the morning, one in the evening, and then the next day again. Then someone's telling you, since it's vitamin C, can I have some?
Yeah.
Somebody did that thing to me, and I was like, no, it has already been prescribed. It was like, there's nothing there now. It's vitamin C. I'm like, no, it's not vitamin C. It's already prescribed. Thank you very much. Don't share drugs with others. Always consult a health professional. Yesterday we were saying something about pharmacists being just reading with drug sellers than pharmacists, because I know that pharmacists will know exactly the right thing to say here on this. Pharmacists will know the effect, a lot of more adverse effects of self-medication. It goes a long way. It's more dangerous than I'm actually even saying it. So that's why I'm actually hammering on it properly, because it goes a long way to causing issues. Now, when a disease that would have been treated with normal antibiotics, you don't have to look for the ones that the bacteria is sensitive to, higher medications. So like, it's very dangerous to self-medicate. It's very dangerous to prescribe drugs for yourself. So as much as possible, if you walk into a pharmacy, ask to talk to a pharmacist that will be able to advise you on particular drugs to use, and make sure that you have a prescription from a health professional, and stop self-medicating. Don't be like, okay, I've had this thing already, I know what to do, I will take so and so drug, please, I beg your view. It's not I'm begging now. I beg, because your well-being is one of our focuses on the show, on this segment. I beg you in the name of God, don't self-medicate. Do not self-medicate. There are a lot of dangers to this thing. Do not self-medicate. Yeah. Self-medication may look cheap and easy, but the cost of your health can be permanent. Some people, maybe they want to jump pay for a hospital card, pay to the doctor, pay for medical lab tests, and then just jump to the pharmacy part. Jump the treatment part. Maybe they want to avoid the money they will spend through all those, through diagnosis, prognosis, lab tests. They now jump straight to the pharmacy part of it, and because they can just spend small amounts of money for this particular thing, the next thing is they move. So I had a particular infection, and I couldn't go to the hospital at that point in time. So what I did was I had to chat up a pharmacist friend of mine, because I was like, no, I'm not about to self-medicate by myself. No. The next thing, she told me this particular dosage to use. She told me what to do, how to use the particular drug. I was like, alright, no problem. And she was like telling me that whatever happens, if I react to it the first day, I should get hernia. Stuff like that. So I was in constant communication with the pharmacist, because I don't want a situation where I self-medicate and I cause wahala for myself. On top of the infection I have, I will now add and now on a put side. So as much as possible, please do not self-medicate. Make sure to always consult a health professional. We're always here for you. We are always here for you. That's it for the health and wellness segment. We're going back to the music. When we come back, we'll take you through the people and culture segment. This is Ginger by Olamide. Don't touch that dial. Welcome back from that music break. It's 38 minutes past the hour of 8, and you're still on the Morning Buzz Show, where we are here to give you a smooth drive through your morning, be your morning companions, basically. Before we went on the break, we're talking about self-medication, and I'm still standing to your ear. Please do not self-medicate. Always consult a medical professional. Now we move on to the next segment, which is people and culture segment.
Okay.
And this is actually a very interesting, topic, because it's something that most of us do not know about.
Okay.
Although most of us know the surface, most of us don't know exactly more about this particular person.
Okay.
We're going to be talking on the story of Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. Now, in civic education, what did they say that she was? The first woman to drive car. Finish.
Exactly.
Finish. I'm here to tell you that she did more than just drive car. She did more than just be the first woman to drive a car. Now, if Nigerian history had a heartbeat, one of its loudest, oldest rhythms would sound like Fumilayo Ransom Kuti. Not gentle, not quiet, definitely. More like a drum calling a whole crowd to attention. Now, Fumilayo Ransom Kuti was a Nigerian teacher, political activist, and fearless advocate for women's rights. She wasn't just ahead of her time, she practically dragged time forward with her. She was one of the first Nigerian women to drive a car. That's the only thing, that's most of the only thing that we actually know. Or the fact that she's the mother of Fela Ransom Kuti, the Afrobeat pioneer. But more importantly, she drove social change with even more force. She was born in Abeokuta, Ogun State in 1900, and she was among the first girls in Nigeria to receive formal education. She was privileged to have parents that actually knew the importance of training female children.
Exactly.
And so her parents took her abroad. So actually, she schooled in Nigeria before she went abroad, because her parents had this notion that a girl child also deserves to be educated. She later studied in England, where she was exposed to new political ideas that would later shape her activism. She was one of the first women to study abroad. She was one of the first women. Like, she's literally a pioneer of some particular things. Now, Fubilaya didn't believe in whispering when something was wrong. She believed in organized resistance. She founded the Abeokuta Women's Union. She was also one of the first women to found a political party in Nigeria. This Abeokuta Women's Union was a powerful movement that mobilized thousands of women against unfair taxation, colonial policies, and the abuse of power by traditional rulers. Basically, this was for market women that were facing very, very unfair taxation. There was this particular, is it Egba in Abeokuta State? Abeokuta, Ogun State. Yes. And this particular Egba, that's the traditional ruler in that region, imposed unfair taxation on the market women. And he was basically a tyrant and ruler. I feel like I came for this man and made him uncomfortable in it until he steps down. At one point, the movement became so strong that it led to the temporary application of the Alake. Alake of Abeokuta, because it's also Egba too. So, but this is the Alake of Abeokuta, and that's not influence, that's impact. See, impact. I was reading about her story. I was proud. I was like, yes, because if people did actually stand up for these women, I don't feel like anybody would have. And the funny thing is how they've tried to mask history and say that she's just the first person that do the car finish. That's what most children know happen.
Exactly.
That she drove. She's the first woman to drive the car. Finish. That's the they tell us in civic education. I'm here to tell you that she's more than that. So any child listening to me, yeah, you need to do your research more. Because she was more than just the lady that the first lady to drive a car. She fought tirelessly for women's right to vote, equal opportunities in education, better working and living conditions for women. She believed women were not just part of society, they were its backbone. She was one of the first leading feminists during that time, and she also pushed for women's right to vote. To the point, I think she succeeded, and the northern region, the women in the northern region of the country were given eligible rights to vote. Afumilaya was involved in nationalist movements during Nigeria's struggle for independence. She was even part of the international discussions representing Nigerian women on global platforms. Her activism wasn't local. It had echoes across continents. She was the mother of Fela Kuti, the legendary Afrobeat pioneer. She was also the mother of other 3 children. Yeah. Her last child died in infancy. She has a medical doctor also, and also a human rights activist. So her family is actually, they are there for impact. Impact.
They have been so impactful, and definitely in music and all that, we just know more.
And you definitely see her power. You definitely see her strength, her legacy passed through her children. Because Fela sang about the corrupt leaders in his songs. If you listen to Fela's songs, I had no option but to listen to them. I actually enjoyed them because my dad was a huge Fela fan, and he sang about how corrupt the leaders then were. So her legacy passed through her children because her children made impact in society. Her legacy lives on as a symbol of courage, resistance, and power of collective voice. In 1978, she was tragically injured during a military raid on her son's compound. She was thrown off the 2nd floor of her house, and she later died from those injuries. Even in death, her story remains tied to struggle, resistance. Now, Fumilayo Rasokuti is not just a historical figure. She is a reminder that one voice can spark thousands, courage can challenge systems, and change often begins with refusing to stay silent. So here you have it. Fumilayo Rasokuti was not just the first lady to drive a car. She was one of the first women feminists, one of the first women to go abroad to study. She was a women's rights activist. She fought for the rights of women to vote, to be in political power. This woman she made impact. She made impact to the point people were actually threatened. But the fact that she still kept pushing through to actually make sure that women's rights were honored, women's rights were abided by, and also reducing unfair taxation on market women. But imagine working for your money and then taxation, because of unfair taxation, it removes half of the money you've worked for. Now there's a little less for your family to feed on and everything. So she was one of these women that strives to make sure that women were respected in society, that women were given fair treatment in the Nigerian society. She's way more, like I said before, she's way more than the first woman that drove a car. And she bettered people that still made impact in the world, the likes of Fela Kuti and her other children who made impact in different other spaces. Now, if you hear the name Fumilayo Kuti, you know that she was more than the first woman who drove a car. And also, I implore you to do more research. Read about who she was.
Yeah.
Read about who she was. I implore you to do more research because, I mean, I can't say everything here. I just have to touch a little bit because of time. But make sure that you do more research on this beautiful, impactful woman who shook tables. She shook tables and stood where other women were afraid to stand. She stood amongst men that were that wondered about her audacity. Because I was looking at there's also a particular film dedicated to her. The name of the film is Fumilayo Kuti. A film related to dedicated to her. It was a tribute to her basically. So I thought you to also watch that movie because the movie actually opens our eyes to her story and tells us more about who she was when she was alive. And it also pushes women to also make sure that they stand by their rights. Because in society now, women are more vulnerable to a lot of violence, a lot of abuse, a lot of things that are not supposed to be. Yesterday I heard one, I saw a story. This man, keke driver, held her first hand. I was struggling with her, and he was not like he was playing with her. Afterwards, she had to defend herself. She carried her water bottle and threw water at him. She had to defend herself. Mind you, she said she had to emphasize that she was properly dressed and everything. She had to emphasize that she was properly dressed. To us, imagine she had to emphasize that she was properly dressed. That she didn't know why somebody actually, had to harass her, hold her hands and everything. And it was when she was describing the story to me, I was like, what exactly is this? Why can't women just go out and live normal life without having
being harassed or being
harassed,
bullied out by the road and all of that.
The lady said the guy was threatening to beat her up. She's like, don't you know I was playing with you? Now I'm going to beat you up or something. I was like, the guy was threatening to beat her up, a keke driver from nowhere. I mean, like, he said he wasn't doing anything. Man just came and held her hand, sorry. And then she had to defend herself by throwing water at him. And this particular man stepped in, but didn't step in well enough. And she had to do this herself. She said she was afraid. Then she went to the police office and then they were charging her money to locate this particular keke driver. And I was like, how high have we fallen? Why is it that we are embarrassing our founding fathers? People that fought for these things to be in place, they are now, it's more like as if their efforts were in vain. The old national anthem will be like the labor of our leaders past shall never be in vain. But now it's looking like as if the things they fought for, things they even died for, are now in vain because women are still harassed. Sometimes they are rid of their rights. And this way, like, a lot is going on in our society. And so this actually it pushes women to fight and stand for their rights. Stand for their rights because we have gone a long way. Gone through journeys of bias, natures of the society, to not having the rights to franchise before. So we have gone through a lot as a gender, and so it also pushes women to stand for their rights because we also deserve equal rights to some certain things. We deserve equal rights to vote because we are also human beings and will also be affected by the present government. Because I mean, nobody's vindicated from. We're all in Nigeria, and we all definitely face most of the things that our leaders push towards, basically. So we all have a right to vote. We have right to fair hearing, freedom of speech. We have rights. We are human beings. More than we are women, we are human beings. So let her story inspire you to stand for what you believe in. stand for the rights that she fought for and she died for too.
Yeah. So you could actually start from your department. You could actually start from your family settings. Okay. You could actually start from your faculty. You could start from the school. You could start from your streets. You could start from your church. You could start from your union bodies. Anyone, anywhere, but just start somewhere. Trust me, they're going to write. It's just like the likes of Florence Bankobi. She did a lot, and whether we like it or not, when they call when there's a roll call about women who have impacted so much in the university, she stands a chance to be called. Because she has done her own part. So you out there, do your own part. I do not subscribe to women education ends in the kitchen. Despite all that you're facing at the end of the day, return back to the kitchen. No, 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 no. Those kind of perceptions are archaic and, of course, have come and gone. Those eras have come and gone. Today, we've seen tremendous women who have returned back to the root and say, look, we have a lot of women like we just talked about, and Poti. She has done tremendously well in Nigeria, in Africa, and globally. So we must, as a matter of fact.
Reading her story too, I realized that she actually had people that supported her.
Of course,
supportive
definitely.
She had
You're going to have
parents.
a lot of friends who definitely support you.
Yeah, so it also extends to people. It also extends to family members of women. You are an elder brother.
Stop discouraging women.
You are an elder brother to your sister. You are a dad or a mom to your daughter.
A cousin, a native.
Yeah, exactly.
You related to someone.
Encourage.
So encourage women. Take that challenge.
I think we have shown over time that we can actually handle some particular position.
Yeah, people should do more. People should do more. Yeah.
And you've seen notable women attaining places of power, actually doing well, like the likes of Fumila Rasaputi and Dora Akunyi too. And also Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Exactly. So we had a lot of notable women from Nigeria doing well. So encourage your girl child, encourage the lady in your house, somebody close to you, that she could do more. And she has the equal rights to stand in places of power, to stand in places of influence in society, and to also do well, not to impact negatively, to impact positively. I'm going to go back to the music break. When we come back, we'll take you through the top story segment. But before the top story segment comes up, the news flash comes up shortly by 9 a.m. This is Who's That Girl by Arista and Rema. Enjoy.
to the news flash at 9 a.m. on Unical Radio International 103.5 FM Carnival. My name is Albert Keller. Here are the top headlines of the hour, starting from the home scene. Cross River State cracks down on illegal clinics and issues ultimatum to airing facilities. On the national scene, President Tinubu kicks off 2027 re-election bid as APC begins sales of forms. And elsewhere in Nigeria, as Dati Baba Ahmed announces defection from Labour Party to PRP. And away from Nigeria, Trump hails the British as friends as the king visits amid Iran tensions. And now taking you to the interesting world of entertainment and lifestyle as Billie Eilish puts Manchester at the center of new 3D concert film. I'll take that again. Billie Eilish puts Manchester at center of new 3D concert film. And lastly, in sports news, as FIFA may reduce yellow card player suspensions at the World Cup, says the FIFA regulation report. Details of all of this news and more are coming up this afternoon by 1 p.m. on your best ADO infotainment radio station, Unical Radio International 103.5 FM Calabar. If you have news reports from your area hostels department and faculties, do well to call our news hotline on 0809 444 4058. You can also follow us on our social media handles on Facebook. We are Unical Radio International. On Instagram, TikTok, and X, we are Unical Radio. And please do away with any form of discrimination and nepotism as we strive to build a united nation. And always remember, Malabites, Malabrasses, and Cross Riverians at large, we are known for reasonable action. My name forever is Albert Keller. Many thanks for listening. Do well to stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our broadcast coming your way. Do well to enjoy the rest of the morning bath with Sharon and Obi Thompson. Good morning.
by O'Malley. Welcome back from that music break. It's still the Morning Bus Show on your favorite radio station, Unicorn 103.5 FM.
You're staying behind like that particular music is your marriage music. So I don't know what plans you're having.
No.
Is it because of the small code you say you had
It's
last
young
night?
and beautiful. I said was my marriage music. I don't understand.
Just because of small
Why
code.
would this thing be?
Ew.
See, Thompson.
So terrible. Small rain.
Avoid me, Thompson. I was reacting to a particular stuff I saw online, and it was "Young and Beautiful" by Lana Del Rey. I said it's going to serve as marriage song. You now brought up Lolo. What's my business with Lolo? I beg. As my marriage song, I beg. I'm not rugged. I'm international. I already live soft life, so I don't do that. Anyways, we're going straight to the top story segment of the show after Thompson has already exposed me here. It's not an explosive because she did not say what I was doing.
Well,
anyways,
let's not get it twisted though.
Time check is 9 minutes past the hour of 9, and we'll go straight to the top story segment. And the first top story is from the university space. Unical VC urges transparency peace ahead of SANU elections. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar, Professor Offiong Ipanga Offiong, has charged the Electoral Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU Unical Branch, to uphold transparency and ensure a peaceful electoral process. The Vice Chancellor gave the charge during a courtesy visit by members of SANU Electoral Committee led by its chairman, Mr. Okoye Ibo. Describing the assignment as sensitive and delicate, Professor Offiong stressed the need for absolute transparency and credibility throughout the election process to avoid tension and misunderstanding among members. As a father to all, my administration is open to everyone who seeks counsel, the Vice Chancellor stated, assuring the committee of the university management's neutrality in the election. He further emphasized that the university management has no interest in imposing union leaders on members, adding that the election must be conducted in a free, fair, and transparent manner acceptable to all stakeholders. The Vice Chancellor urged the committee to remain guided by fairness and integrity while wishing them success in the discharge of their responsibility. Earlier, the chairman of the SANU Electoral Committee, Mr. Okoye Ibo, said the visit was aimed at formally introducing members of the committee to the Vice Chancellor and informing him that the union election is scheduled to hold on May the 18th, 2026. He also appealed for the support of the university management, especially in the area of security, to ensure a peaceful, free, and fair election process. This is from the Public Relations Unit, the University of Calabar. So what do you make out of this?
Yeah, so I think it's quite important for us to have elections generally, in our institutions, without the interference of the management. And this is why we keep talking about even in Nigerian, political, space where we have the president, would always want to, find interest, or the senators or governors and all of that. So here we have the Vice Chancellor assuring that he wants, the elections to be conducted independently, where he wouldn't have to interfere. But whoever emerges, he has to work. That is what it's supposed to be. And so we just hope that this is absolutely opposed to the best of its abilities, just so that we didn't have cracks or misinformations or probably a kind of issues within the university community. And this is a respected body, and as such, everybody should actually coordinate them. So I know at some point in time, despite these sayings, I'm sure he will definitely have an interest. He may definitely have an interest that, okay, I would have loved so person to be the chairman, the secretary, the this, the that, but whichever way.
Well, he may suggest it, but it's possible. We think that he's not going to impose.
Yes,
That
so
things
there is one thing to suggest. There's another thing for that thing not coming to pass because all of them, irrespective of this election, whoever emerges, you're still going to be under the vice chancellor. So if it doesn't work out, just like we've heard from the secular political, scene where somebody would say, if you do not support the president, then you're not going to get our support. You're not going to get, and then if you have any misunderstanding, you're not going to get your fundings, require fundings, to run your administration and all of that. So this is why I was saying that in the first place, yeah, just give the go ahead. It's good that the vice chancellor have come out to spell it out very plain, to the hearing of the public, the public that look, I am not going to interfere. Whoever emerges, I'm going to work with the person. And that's what it's supposed to be. But on the day of election, trust me, most of us will definitely be there to see what is on ground and then get to hear some information because that is where the real thing is being done. So unlike usually, and then we just hope that they will have to organize themselves. These are great comrades, in terms of political businesses.
Yeah.
They are persons who should not be acting like children or people who are looking out for who give them t-shirts, caps, and all of that. But they should have to vote for candidates who is ready to serve. It's not all about leading; it's about serving. Don't forget leadership is about service. So whoever comes out should be somebody who is ready to serve and also to work with the management. There's one thing to come out and measure as a leader, and there's another thing for you to be antagonizing the government of the day, and all of that. When they say, "Oh, let's get this done," you feel like no. It's about coming to a roundtable discussions, negotiations, and it's about defending the union you're actually leading, as well as creating a soft ground for what do they call this word? You have to ensure that whatever it is, you have to. I'm looking for that proper word to use because you need to, there are some certain things you need to just let go or slide or probably say, hey, look, we have to do it this way. You have to do it that way. So you don't literally feel like it must be your own way. So I think that is how it should have to be. It must not be the vice chancellor's way or the management's way. It should also be a kind of, understanding between the both parties. You have to stimulate yourself to know that, hey, look, this is what you want as a union. And then the vice chancellor, on the other hand, could, put on his mercenaries to say, okay, yeah, we know this is what you want, but this is not going to be possible now. You should have to pedal yourself to know that, look, we need a peaceful atmosphere for both parties to collaborate and to work together. All of this is for the good of the community that we find ourselves today. So we wish them the very best in their forthcoming elections. And of course, let the winner not take it all. Let it be something that everyone, those who also will lose out, would also be invited into the government to also participate because if you put them into the government, trust me, they'll help you to balance yourself. It's very interesting to see a leader, who accepts blames, who accepts, criticism, who accepts corrections. That's one way you're able to live in and also improve the organization.
Yes, we really hope that there's free and fair election.
Yeah, I was looking for that word compromise. You need to compromise on certain things to be able to actually work together as a body.
Yeah, because most of the times, some people will just say, since it's under the university, it's being done in the university, the VC would be the one to pick.
No. At this point in time, it's not going to be a hard pick.
Yeah, I like the fact that elections are taking place so that these people could come and vote who they want to be in, who they want to lead this particular branch. Now, xenophobic wave. This is a cause for concern, actually. Fresh report confirmed that 2 Nigerians identified as Amaramiro Emmanuel and Epeyong Andrew have been killed in South Africa amid a new wave of xenophobic violence. The attacks have sparked panic within the Nigerian community, with growing concerns over safety as tensions rise and foreigners reportedly face harassment and brutality. While claims of 10 Nigerians killed are circulating online, verified reports confirm 2 deaths in this latest incident, highlighting once again the recurring danger Nigerians face abroad. This is very sad, and xenophobic attacks have been going on since I was actually little. we've been hearing that so and so Nigerians were killed, so and so Nigerians were killed. Xenophobia, in case you may not know, is the fear of foreigners. And it has been prevalent in South Africa for a while and mostly targeted at Nigerians. Because most of the times you barely hear other African countries. It's mostly, oh, Nigerians were killed, Nigerians were killed, Nigerians were killed. And I tried digging up why the South Africans were being xenophobic and all, and I realized, and what it showed here is that the foreigners cause economic frustration, strains on particular resources, and what else did it read? It led to high unemployment. It was driven by intense high unemployment, competition for scarce resources like housing and jobs. Because if foreigners come, they would want to definitely want to, live, have a house there, and they would definitely want employment. So these types of things were driven. That's what drove xenophobic attacks.
Yeah.
But then,
And then I've also come to learn that it's because of Nigerians go there, they do tremendously well. Yeah, I do not want to use the word the lazy attitude of the South Africans men, especially. It forces them to feel like, oh, the other foreigners are coming to actually take away their country, take away their women and businesses and all of that.
yeah.
It keeps me so worried. But I think issues like these are things that we expect our government to actually strike a balance, But here we have, institutions of government, abusing citizens of our own country. So we will not have to see them fighting so hard when another country do the same thing to its citizen. But however, we just anticipate to see a lot of directives have been given by Mr. President, and then we'll see the actions that follow suit. However, this is not something that just started happening of recent. It is something that has stayed for a very long time. But over time, I think Nigerian governments usually fail to strike a very stringent balance between these two countries together. If not, there should be a very serious consequences. Sanctions and every other thing should follow suit. If governments stand tall to this, any other country will have to. But first, we need to respect our own citizens in our own country. Because we're already seeing this happening. You could imagine the incident that just happened yesterday in Delta State. So it's already putting the entire nation into a state of panic.
If people are dying here through insecurity and everything, and then most of the time,
the government is not bothered. So how much more outside? So that's just our fears, and this is why most of us are very scared of even saying a lot of things.
It's painful to see that the government, our own government, can't even stand for us when we are
here in our own country. So how much more another person?
There was a particular incident where they said, I think people in Iran, Nigerians in Iran, there was no floods, and in fact, because of the attacks. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Are you serious? That's what you tell. Not for us. We have an individual, Michael Yeme, who actually pulled out his aircraft and say, hey, look, you need to go there to go help out and all of that. So, it's pathetic to see that even our own country can't defend us in times of need, because imagine this type of thing happening, and they're calling on South African governments to make proper investigations towards this particular thing. Now, if we can't respect our own lives in our own country, then what's the message we're sending to other African countries and other countries outside? What's the country we're sending for them to do to us, basically? There's some countries that respect us regardless, but then there's some countries that actually are afraid, either intimidated, or they actually do respect us to start with. So I think in this particular scene, we saw South Africans, shouting, leave our country, leave our country, leave our country. Imagine. And it's very sad because there are some South African businesses that are thriving in Nigeria. So imagine if we did the same to them. It would be, we are trying to be we have too much pride, and we don't want to see other businesses outside that come from other outside the country excel. And there are foreigners here living their lives because Nigerians are homely. Actually, they are hospitable to an extent. A core Nigerian is hospitable. They would welcome you with open arms, as long as you're not a threat or anything. As long as you come with the mind of, you are welcome. you're a welcome person. Basically, you definitely be welcomed with open arms. We are not violent people to start with. Most of us are not violent people.
Not both of us. Nigerians are not
We're
violent
not
people,
violent
per
people,
se.
basically. So we
Yeah.
would literally welcome you open
Exactly.
arms. I'm sure if you ask an average white person in Nigeria, or an average foreigner in Nigeria, basically, they will tell you that they've had a very beautiful state. Except that things are expensive and stuff like that. Even at that, their currencies actually can help them here because their currencies, like you said in the exchange rate now, if let's say a Ghanaian comes here, their currency is actually a little bit higher than ours.
Yeah.
And when you exchange it, they are able to, pay for what they can pay for. So we are very welcoming people, basically. So it's very painful to see that when we decide to go abroad, we are pursued from their country in very violent ways. It's very, 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 very violent ways. And it would be very nice to see the ambassador of Nigeria to South Africa. Should I get that right? Nigeria, the ambassador of Nigeria to South Africa.
Nigeria.
It's very nice to see work in collaboration with these governments. Actually,
but over time they do this. Over time they do this, and then they do not come to a compromising stance. And it keeps happening. It keeps worsening as the day turns by, and this is really literally not okay. We're all being told that read from the internet how a particular lady started all of this, and then the person have been arrested, and then but after some time we no longer hear as to what happened next, whether she was actually released and all of that. So it's sad that all of these things is happening to humans, and it shouldn't be. I think the Nigerian government, should have to wake up at this point in time, just like we said, if we're not able to address what is happening in Nigeria, squarely, is it what is happening out there that they will be able to manage or deal with? But however, we know for sure that sometimes we want to play the big boys out there, but inside we claim to feel like everything is okay, but outside we muzzle them very well. But we just hope that actually works out, and if that does, trust me, a lot of these things will not get to happen again.
Okay, we're going back to those are two stories you can take for today. We're going back to the music. When we come back, we'll take the conversation of the day and of course a wrap up the show. This is Iron Man by Rema. Don't touch that dial. Oh, I miss it so bad. This well, but I can't relate to the song because
you never talk within your mind. Don't worry.
Your
parents are listening. Your parents are listening.
Yes, they're listening.
18 plus.
It's 19. Oh God. Did I say anything? I think I'm catching cold. Finish. Did I say anything?
Why didn't you play Adeka Chico? Oh, Adeka Chico.
That's exactly what he said.
No, this is a remix. I want the original Adeka Chico by Wakonzi. Oh my god, I know music. Oh, chim. Oh, chim.
Local touch, local spice, local seasoning of it.
We agree. That's why we have to create and develop, sustain our local content.
Of course, most definitely.
Yeah.
Time check is 28 minutes past the hour of 9, and we have a very interesting and sad conversation.
Yeah.
This conversation is about a 10-year-old adopted girl that died after allegedly being abused by her foster parents in Igondo. A tragic incident unfolded in the Igondo area of Lagos Igondo area of Lagos, where a 10-year-old adopted girl reportedly died following alleged sustained abuse by her foster parents. According to community leaders, the couple had consistently maltreated the child and frequently sent her on strenuous errands despite her young age. Residents disclosed that the girl had been ill for about 2 weeks, yet the alleged physical assault continued during her period of sickness. Oh my God. Eyewitnesses claimed that on the day of the incident, the couple once again beat the child severely and the girl later died. The suspect reportedly attempted to rush her to the hospital, where medical personnel confirmed she was brought in dead. Youths in the community intervened when news of the girl's death spread. The woman was apprehended first, while the man, who had allegedly gone to hire a commercial tricycle to dispose of the child's body, was caught upon his return. Both were held until security operatives arrived. The incident was immediately reported to the DPO of the Gondo Division Police Station, who deployed officers to arrest the couple and recover the child's remains. While being questioned, the male suspect claimed that the girl had been sick and died while receiving treatment at the hospital. However, a verification call to the attending doctor contradicted his claim. The doctor confirmed the child was brought in unresponsive and already cold on arrival. Authorities had commenced a full investigation, and this case is expected to be followed to its legal conclusion. This is a very sad story.
Just a very sad story. In fact, I am heartbroken. I am, sad that such things are happening. No matter what a child has actually done, you shouldn't get to that point where you spank a child until the child is not responsive.
Exactly.
There's a way a child cries and then the child just stops crying. At that point in time, you should know that it has gotten to a limit where it is just 50-50, for that child to survive.
Now, the conversation is, how do cases like this reflect the broader issue of child protection in our community?
Okay.
And what signs of child abuse should neighbors or community members pay attention to? Send us a message on WhatsApp, or you can call us on our studio phone line 009 4444 You can send us a text message also through that number, and you can also drop comments on our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. We would love to read it out here and get to know your contributions to this conversation. It's a very sad one because it's not their child. You see, this thing, people tend to do this thing. Nigerians tend to do this thing where if it's not their child. If it's not their child,
they don't care.
They don't care. They would maltreat them.
Other children, yeah.
Now we had there are situations.
Just the mind of
business.
business.
Normal situations in the country where a parent, like a set of parents, have like 2 children, and then there's one particular one that came from the village. Now maybe it's possible that maybe that child has a mother that died, and then that mother happens to be they're the same with their auntie. Basically, let's say someone has a sister and the sister died, and the sister's child is that's really child of the sister that died, and then because of the fact that there's no other person to take care of that child, the responsibility falls on the sister.
Yeah.
Now there's how you would tell the difference. In most Nigerian households, you saw the difference between their own children and someone else's child.
Yeah.
Either their own children are going to sophisticated schools, while this child is going to a public school, or their child dresses in nice, clean clothes, while this child is actually struggling to dress or repeat different clothing. Or maybe this child doesn't eat on the same table with their own children. They segregate the children in the house. Now, mind you, this child is adopted.
Yeah.
Adopted, though, not they took responsibility for this child, maybe because one of their relatives died, and then this child had no one to go to again. This child was adopted, probably legally because showing adopted basically. You took in this child to kill the child, really? Like, see, that's the sad thing. You underline the adopted here. It's very, very sad how, if you knew you couldn't take care of this child, why then did you adopt the child? The child would have been better in foster care here. The child would have been better in foster care and what do you call it? I think motherless babies, what they call it in Nigeria. Foster care. That's what it's called. I don't know, it's not even they call it baby. So basically, that child would have been better off at foster care than you adopting the child, beating this child to stupor, and making the child die. And the painful thing was that the parents tried covering up the story, and the father tried burying this child. Renting a tricycle to bury this child. Can you imagine? Imagine the previous wickedness in the hearts of some people. Because you adopted this child. You know, people think that, okay, they're looking for children, they will now adopt a child and take care of that child. Or mind you, this child is one person. It's not more than one child. It's okay, the person was overwhelmed and whatever. Even at that, you don't get to abuse a child. You do not get to abuse a child. Imagine, oh God, I can't imagine what this girl went through before she finally passed away. But imagine going through such abuse as a child. And the funny thing was that she probably like was on her own in foster care, enjoying the little food and everything that comes with being in foster care, basically. And decided to adopt the child. And the next thing, you are maltreating the child. Why did you not adopt the child? Why did you pick the child from where they were? It's more like Wahala came and met you.
Yeah.
I said, come and dwell with me. And now, where is she now? She's no more.
Yeah.
So the question now is how do cases like this reflect the broader issue of child protection in our community? So people tend to mind their business. It's not my business. It's not my house. As one of these neighbors have seen how they had maltreated this child for a long period of time and never said little to nothing. So people may have said something and didn't act on it. Because if it's in my area now, if a child is abused more than twice, and my neighborhood, you know about it, we will raise alarm. The next thing, the chairman of our estate is knowing that, okay, something is actually happening in this particular place. We had a situation where one of the girls that was living in the house, a particular family like that, one of the girls she was raped by another person, another guy in the estate. And the next thing was for us to raise alarm, because we can't be having things like this happen under our noses. They could have had the opportunity to save this child, but they left it at that because, some people feel like it's discipline. Some people are so messed up to the point where they feel like beating a child to stupor till that child has injuries is discipline, which doesn't make any sense to me. Because sometimes there's some things that a child does, you can tell the child, no, don't do it again. Yeah. Tell the child why they should not do it again. And sometimes, yes, we encourage beating the child. We can encourage, that saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. Exactly. We encourage discipline. But not to the point where that child incurs injuries, scars.
Before you rest. So when the scriptures say don't spare the rod and spoil the child, has to do with the scriptures. You keep talking. The word is God, is the love of God, is sharing this. It's not hitting, it's not spanning, it's not harassing, it's not bullying children, okay? Yeah, I understand that a lot of parents say, hey, our children are this and that. Yes, you were sometime like them. So imagine if your parents, your guardians, your school teachers, who've also read stories where in many schools, in public schools and private schools in Nigeria, where a lot of school administrators, beat children to this extent and all of that. I know how the law have been able to treat those issues. However, I think it's quite important for us as a people, as a nation, to understand that children are gifts from God. So no matter what it is, we must have to love them, lead them, and also show them the same love that God is showing to us. So I don't understand why a lot of parents or caregivers will actually do all of this. And let's not forget that there are laws and regulations, that have stipulated. We've talked about the Constitution that have given us a right of a right to life, a right to association, belonging, and all of that when you grow to a certain age, right?
Yeah.
But then the right to life begins when you have given birth. So every child, deserves to live. Every child deserves to be loved. Every child deserves to be cared for. The Human Rights Commission is also there to also help in ensuring that things are properly done and things are done properly. If you have any of these kind of situations in your environment, in your schools, wherever it is, make appropriate, reports. And trust me, we have organizations like UNICEF, we have many other organizations that actually take up issues like this, and you do not have to spend to it, or spend for it. Those organizations will take absolute control about it. So if you find yourself in a street or in an environment, in a compound, in a family setting where adults abuse children, you have to make proper reports against that so that the law will have to take its course. And then we should learn to tolerate children. They are very, a lot of them don't mind the fact that, they do certain things. They do not know what they are doing. Even us as adults, there are so many things we do, and somebody say, this person don't know what he's saying, or this person don't know what he's doing. This person, do you understand? So we might not know it, or we might not be able to do all round perfectly the way you want it to be done. So you must have to strike a balance, knowing very well that these are children. At some point in time, when a child steps up to a particular age, the child begins to do some certain things. It's just like a children that start crawling. Expect that if you keep things on the table, on the chair, on whatever within their reach, they are going to fall it down. They are going to break bottles, they are going to break cups, they are going to break plates, they are going to do one of some funny things. We've been watching a lot of skits where children, even dip their hands inside soup and then pour everything down, stew, rice, food, and all of that. So when it gets to a particular age, the child begins to understand that, no, this is a no-go area. There are some certain things children don't do at a particular age, no matter, even if they are in the house all alone. Then they get to a stage where a child begins to do, begin to improve. So all this growth age of a child also determines when a child begins to grow, expect some kind of characters and attitudes from this child. So it's not enough reason. We've talked about branding children as witchcraft C and all of that. We've talked about that last week on the show. I think it's quite important for parents to please love your children, love these little ones that God has given to us. I love one hymn, 301 says that we are gifted, okay? As children, we are gifted by earthly parents who are there to guide us, lead us, and show us the way. And for me to you, trust me, the laws are there to actually take charge and, of course, deal and with anyone who have been able to look down on these children and maltreat them.
Some tweets actually read.
Okay.
This one is from Osana on some tweets on the then Twitter, now X. Nothing, I repeat, nothing in this life should make you hand over your child to others for them to help you train because you are broke. A lot of Nigerians are heartless when it comes to taking care of other people's children. They'll pour all the frustration of this life on your child. Think twice before you decide to get pregnant and give birth to a child. Think twice before you decide to get pregnant and give birth to a child you cannot train. Another tweet said, your adopted child is also your child. You can't love your child so much that you would discipline him or her to the point of death. This is from Odunayo Philip Joy. Anna from Joyce says they adopted a girl and then beat her to death. For what exactly? What exactly is the point of this? I might have to log off for today because the madness I'm seeing on this app is simply too much. Now, like I said, I don't get the point of adopting a child.
But when you cannot, take proper care of this child.
It's actually very, 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 very painful. And the fact that the neighbors...
If it was easy, you should have given birth to a child.
The fact that neighbors actually reported that she was abused for a series of weeks. And reported it after she died. Really? Like
I think
really,
those neighbors will also be held accountable because they have supported in one way or the other. They should
I
have
think
made
it's so
claims and reports.
it's
I
so
understand this
painful.
act of, concern me after all.
Yeah.
That they are, no, 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 no. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't get to that point in our lives where we should allow people to be doing things
You
like
see,
that.
I said here before, yeah, we are not people outside where you say where they live by themselves. Their houses are in, they live by themselves, they mind their business. Whatever happens in one person's house doesn't affect another person. We are people that we are made up of communities,
Okay.
closely knit communities, and we shouldn't act like as if we don't know some things are happening in some people's houses. It, at some point in time, it's not Amebo is actually safer. Amebo is actually, will actually save someone's life.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Because tell me how is this person has been abused for a series of weeks and he's now in the report. So what exactly did the neighbors there do? Who was there to caution them? Was there any reports that okay, somebody actually cautioned them from beating up this child to stupor? And this child was sick. And they were still beating this girl up. For what reason exactly? And then it still shines the spotlight on people that actually have unwanted pregnancies basically. You have your fun
No,
and then a
yeah,
child comes out of it and then you look for ways to dump this child, you look for ways to keep this child, and then the child now is left to face the hard life that Nigeria has to give that child.
Yeah, you've been saying the words like unplanned pregnancy
Mm,
because there is
not
nothing, no,
unwanted.
yeah,
Excuse
no amount
me.
of because whether you like it or
Unplanned
not, now
pregnancy.
you go enjoy this. So you must have to carry the child. But however, I think just like you said earlier on, if you know you cannot take care of one child, please.
If you can't take care of
Just
a
marry,
child at
just
all.
marry and stay on your own.
We've had
If you know
people,
you cannot take care of two children, just have one. It's enough. It's enough.
honestly,
I see situations where people just keep giving birth. Keep giving birth.
because you
know,
can't bring a
situations
child
like
and
that,
expand, bring the child to
what's the problem?
suffer.
What's the problem?
And
You have to stop it.
in
Yeah.
all places, like is now of all economies to bring a child into is the Nigerian economy. You want to carry the child into.
Don't worry. I have hope that things will get better someday. Okay.
Please, for Christ's sake, if you know that definitely you cannot take care of a child, if you know that you cannot take care of the needs of the basic of a child, please don't bother bringing that child into the bed. Please, and also avoid any acts that would lead to unplanned pregnancy as much as possible, because we don't like hearing this type of things. You see people give birth to children and then dump them in either trash cans or gutters for and leave them to dead basically. Please, as much as possible, strive to take care of the children you can give birth to children you can take care of. And I also don't get the point of adopting a child and actually killing that child, abusing the child to the point where the child ends up dying. And to everyone in society at large, make sure that you are vigilant enough. What you would see and report could actually save someone's life. So make sure that you are vigilant enough to save someone's life. Because your the way how vigilant you are could determine someone else's safety. So as members of communities that we find ourselves in, as neighbors to some certain people, we need to actually open our eyes and be more vigilant around. Now we're going to go back to the music. When we come back, we'll have a wrap up on the show. This is something by Gyaki. Don't touch that dial. I think I can't pronounce the last person's name. Yo. Anyways, welcome back from that music break. It's still the Morning Bus Show on the favorite radio station, Unicorn 103.5 FM. And I'm here for the wrap up of the show. I'm going to miss you guys, by the way, but I'll be back tomorrow again. Anyways, the quote of the day is small progress is still progress. People that feel like I've been drawn to people that feel like they are not making as much progress because of how they see their like say how they see their other peers moving forward. Maybe your friend is doing better than you in this particular field that they're in, and because you feel like, oh, it's your friend, and my friend is doing better than me, so I'm feeling pressured that, oh, this thing is not working out and stuff like that. Small progress is still progress. People have different ways they go through life. People are different. We are all different people, and we grow at different paces that God has actually designed for us. So just know that any progress you're making, it's still progress. As long as you're not moving backward, you are making progress in every stage you're in, every field you're in. As long as you're making progress, as little as it is, it's still progress. Because you can't say and compare yourself to another person. That person may not be as intelligent as you are. You may not be as fast as that person, and you guys may not even be doing the same thing. So small progress is still progress. I'm here to motivate you. Oh man, I know they motivate, but man, motivate you small. I'm here to motivate you that as long as you are moving forward, continue moving forward towards that goal, and you will definitely achieve it. Some of us actually, when we look back at the way we were before, it's not the same way we are now. We've actually progressed to a certain extent. So every progress you make, no matter how little it is, it's still progress, because there's some things that there's a point we were in the past where we sat and we're like, we can't go past this point, but because we kept going, we saw the fruits that it yielded. So as much as possible, appreciate yourself. I appreciate you. I appreciate you to every Malabite and Malabite in University of Calabar moving forward despite everything happening in Nigeria, despite everything happening in our university space. You are the best, and keep moving forward. You would definitely get it. You would definitely reach that goal. This is me saying goodbye. We do this with you every weekday morning from 7:30 to 10 a.m. and we are always here to give you the best of the morning, to help you start your morning beautifully well, relatable conversations and better gist, and also top trending stories that are happening in our space. We keep you up to date on education, information, and entertainment. Don't forget to stay tuned to Unicorn Radio International 103.5 FM. This is still the Morning Bus Show. My name is Sharon Anthony, and this is me saying goodbye and good morning.